You're back on Eurosport, live from Le Mans. Timo Bernhardt, we're on board with him, the race-leading Porsche. 3.4-second gap during this last lap. He's just coming across the line to complete 9 laps. And this car, of course, carrying those retro colours of Porsche's 1970 winner, the Porsche 917 of Richard Atwood and Hans Hermann. And here's the 18 car of pole sitter Neil Yarni following him. So great racing here throughout the field. And Jeremy, since the start, there's been no let-up in any of the classes.
No, you're absolutely right. And, you know, the race certainly beginning to settle down a little bit now. But Neil Yarni just turned the fastest lap of the race so far on lap 8. We're actually now on lap 10. He turns a 3 minutes 20.471. Which is a pretty good lap. Let's bear in mind the fastest lap of the race last year was a 3 minutes 21.7.
And some what we would consider to be early stops, surely, after 9 laps.
Yeah, it's certainly a little bit early, but it's the number 9 car onto pit lane, and yeah, the Audis certainly they certainly like to run slightly different strategies on their cars. It's, you know, it's an awfully long race, and if they get one car in and out of the pits, so they certainly don't want all 3 cars coming into the pit lane at the same time, because the pit lane does get very crowded.
And also, like Porsche, they've got more flexibility running 3 cars, unlike, for example, Toyota with their 2.
So while we're off air on the break, we've great battle developing in LMP2. We saw Tristan Gomendy not only taking second place, but even as I talk, he's just moved into the lead of P2, passing Richard Bradley as well as Sam Bird earlier. And Pierre Caffer in the Collis is also in the mix. I hope we get some shots of that in a minute. Great battle in LMP2.
Yeah, I think we... Okay, so that was a call to Nico Hulkenberg from the team saying box. Yeah. He's going to get fuel only.
So what they've done, Audi put their 3rd car in first, brought it in first. Porsche are going to bring their 3rd car in first. And as Jeremy said, just play around the strategies. So you've got different times, different...
and also they're gathering all of this data and information as well that they'll probably no doubtly use going forward into this race.
One of the race rookies, what do you think's going through his mind at the moment? He must be loving this.
Yeah, I'm sure he's loving it. I mean, it's a big departure from Formula One when you see that onboard shot passing a GT car that's going probably 70 miles an hour slower.
And Vijay Mallya here, of course, as you've said already.
Yeah, we just saw him going into the pits there just before the race, an hour before the race. So it's interesting. How this event attracts a whole host of people whom you wouldn't expect, so could be some significance there.
We don't want all of them here, of course, that's the other thing.
That's true.
So here we go, ready for the 19 car coming into the boxes. Nico Hulkenberg at the wheel, the team is ready there. It'll be a refuel, Jeremy, of course, at this stage, won't it? No tyres. We're looking at double, triple, or even quadruple stinting this year.
That's right, and the first of the P2 cars onto pit lane, as well as our race leader, Tristan Gomendy, just taking the lead. And he is coming to the pit lane as well. The P2 cars have got a pretty small fuel tank on those cars, only 75 litres, and they're not as fuel efficient as the hybrid cars that run in the overall classification. So they tend to stop rather early as well. Here comes number 8 car. That is the second of the Audis, car number 8, and it was
Nico Hulkenberg,
started by Loic Duval.
Oh, sorry.
Also onto pit lane.
So as the 46 car leaves, in comes Hulkenberg then. Let's see how Porsche deals with this. Notice it's left-hand drive.
So it's just a drink bottle there being swapped over because it's either gone or gone hot.
Oh, and a bit of a close call there as one of the Audis comes in as Tristan Gomendy is released almost into his path. The stewards will be looking at that, won't they?
Yeah, that may be deemed an unsafe release, but that's as close as you want at the start of this event, isn't it?
Yep. Now Porsche telling us the reason they put their drivers on the left-hand side of the car is because they refuel from the right and they don't want to get anything caught up.
Yeah, and of course Audi, the drivers are on the right-hand side.
And they still refuel from the right.
Yeah, although they're diesel.
Yeah, I think it's as much the sort of weight distribution, and there's all sorts of reasons for where you put the drivers, and whether they're going to be completely forthcoming with us is open to conjecture. So we've seen 2 cars now from Audi onto pit lane, 1 from Porsche, neither yet of the Nissans, so the Toyotas, beg your pardon. They are running now up into the 4th and 5th places, but already 24 seconds behind the race leader continues to be Timo Bernhardt in the Porsche car number 17. There is now the 4th place car, Sebastian Buemi in.
On Alex.
And 3 laps told there to Alex Wirtz in car number 2 before he comes onto pit lane.
So that's funny because the Audi was supposed to, or the Porsche rather, is the car that's going to give the most number of laps per tank, but that's a big disparity, and of course this car has done the out laps and as well, you know, so that's probably a little surprising for me.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why this race is so fascinating going into it, because there's so much strategy to be played out. These hybrid systems, you know, when they use the hybrid power, whether they use the hybrid power, they've got a certain amount of fuel and indeed energy that they're allowed to use, a maximum amount of energy that allows you to use per lap, which is all computer monitored and relayed to race control.
And of course, if they use too much, then they go into this system where it's a lift and coast, and that system is actually automatic.
Now we just saw the 13 red slow because the factory Porsche that went past him. What happened? Ah, this is what happened. Straight on at Dunlop.
Oops. Scenic route there for the number 13 car. Alex Imperatori started that car, the Swiss driver. He's already made a pit stop. And the 2 Rebellion cars, they're very fast, those 2 cars, but apparently they're a little bit thirsty on their oil consumption.
Then in comes the lead Audi. Andre Lotter on board out of 3rd place.
Yes, isn't that interesting? All 3 Audis now onto pit lane, and the one of the Porsches still yet to make its first stop.
Long way down the pit road from Toyota as world champions, choosing pits number 1 and 2. Audi tend to be towards the far end where they can exit quicker, Damien.
Yeah, and I mean that's all sort of you know, strategically thought out as well. They all have their sort of pros and cons and their favorite position in the pit lane.
We're going down to join Liz Halliday again.
I'm here in the Corvette garage with Jan Magnussen. Of course, it's very great that you guys are here to support your teammates, but you would really prefer to be out there on the circuit. It must be heartbreaking.
Absolutely. But that's how it goes sometimes. We were unlucky in qualifying. Had a little bit of debris come into the car, stuck the throttle open, had a big wreck. So unfortunately we're here, but we're going to be here for the whole race supporting the 64 car. Hopefully they can make up for us not being there.
And what, as a driver, when you realize that's happening, of course that corner is just a lift for you in the Corvette, one of the fastest corners on the circuit. What goes through your head, and what do you try and do in that situation?
Well, I knew immediately what had happened, but since it's not a corner where you go for the brake, it's just a lift, so you're not ready to do something big. So it took me a little while before I figured out what I was going to try and do. So I got on the brakes as hard as I could. Made absolutely zero difference. So I went to try and switch the car off, but the wall was coming, so I took my hand away from the dash. And I hit once, then I accelerated again, hit again. So it's just a big mess. Very, very unfortunate, and I feel so sorry for the guys that have spent so much time preparing for this. But, you know, a big, safe car, you have to say. Take a hit like that, and not a bruise, not a scratch. So that's the positive thing to take away from this.
Well, it is incredible that you're okay, and that's the most important thing, and it's a real testament to the quality of these Corvette motors. Thank you so much, Jan. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. Damien, do you catch that message?
That was Lena Gay just talking to her driver, and just saying that they split the Audis at the start.
Yeah, so that, and So at the moment, the order Porsche, Timo Bernhardt hasn't not yet stopped, nor has Sebastian Buemi's Toyota, so they are 1 and 2 at this moment on the 12th lap of the race.
Yeah, 12 laps. We're on lap 12 now, and Timo Bernhardt, I believe, has just got the call to come onto pit lane as well, so he will be really the last of the leaders to pit, and the fact that he was out in front and running 3 or 4 seconds ahead of everybody else. Interesting that he's able to stretch that fuel load just a little bit longer on this first stop.
And also, Jeremy, he got that call.
He's the leader now.
Just going down into the second chicane, but he just managed to obliterate the Sector 2 time by going faster, way faster, the fastest time that we've seen so far. So a lot of performance from that Porsche.
Absolutely right. The fastest lap of the race set so far by Neil Jarni in car number 18, but that was a very quick lap that Timo Bernhardt used to bring that car onto pit lane. Here is the number 1 Toyota as well. We'll be back in just a minute.
Okay, the stop was too low. The stop was too low.
You rejoin us on lap 13 at the Le Mans 24 Hours. This is Eurosport. Mark Cole, Jeremy Shaw and Damien Faulkner watching this amazing battle. This is the lead battle at the moment. It might be between teammates, but they don't care.
Well, we just heard a radio message there from Neil Yanni to his Porsche team saying our stop was too long. So he's obviously a little fired up and a little upset about that, and you can see that you can see by the body language of the car, these guys aren't hanging around, and they want to be leading.
Pump, we clean the windscreen, pump, and we go for a second stint. And we will do 3 stints with this tire. For 17, did the same lap, number of laps. The other, and the other. One lap less, or 2 laps less.
That was the call then to Sebastian Buemi to keep him appraised. That is in a number 1 Toyota. What's interesting to me, that first round of pits, I was looking at the times that are on pit lane. Oops, there's a problem for number 21 Nissan. The left-hand the driver's door has blown open there, so that's not going to give a very good aerodynamic effect at all. So he's that's certainly going to be a problem.
That's Luca Ordonez, the first.
Just come out of the pits.
Yeah.
So clearly the door didn't latch shut on that first pit stop for number 21 Nissan, and you'll have to bring that car back in again. You can't reach up there and pull that car down again. Pull that door down again, Damien.
No, absolutely not, because you're strapped in tightly, so you can't. You can only move your arms. You can't move your torso or your shoulders at all, really. Yeah. And you can see him being really leisurely, which is quite smart, because obviously that's quite a sizable part up there. And here's some radio right now from him.
Yeah, and Luca Ordonez, one of the first.
Left door is open. Slow down. Okay, copy that. I cannot proceed. Copy.
Yeah, I think that was
well, it's not a current message, of course.
It's probably a delayed message, but that covered what Jeremy has just said there. But the last thing he wants to do right now, even though he has to pit and even though he's losing some time, is the last thing he wants to do is to damage that door by the air blowing it off.
Yeah, exactly.
So he just wants to get it back in one piece so that they can shut it properly.
Yeah, new technology, completely new design concept here for Nissan. They know they're not contending for the wins here this year. They're just here to learn. They're here to pick up data, pick up knowledge, pick up experience, come back next year. There'll be a lot of revisions to this car and the concept for 2016, but they aim to come back next year and hopefully challenge towards the front. What I was going to say, though, about that first round of pit stops, now completed by all of the leaders, what's interesting to me is that the two Porsches are running 1-2 now, number 17 and number 18. They were the fastest cars on pit lane, just 50 and 51 seconds apiece for those two. The Audis, a couple of seconds more, 53 seconds for number 8 car, 55 seconds for the number 7 car, and for the Toyotas, both at 57 seconds. So that's quite a big spread. They're all just taking on fuel at first pit stops, no tyres in the World Endurance Championship, and here at Le Mans, you are not allowed, when you come in and refuel the car, you can't do anything else to the car during that pit stop while the fuel is going in. You can clear the windscreen, but that's it, nothing else. If you're going to make any changes to the car or put on fresh tyres, which none of them did on that first stop, you do that after the fuel load goes in. So what I'm getting here is that the Porsches then needed to take on a little bit less fuel than the Audis, and particularly than the Toyotas, because their stops were shorter, and it's a fuel-only stop for those guys. So that, to me, is interesting. We'll see now in this next stint of the race how long they can go between pit stops.
In comes Lucas Ordonez, and from above, that car, of course, looks exactly like Mark Blundell's Group C Nissan that took the record pole here in 1990. That car's here today, and Nissan deliberately copying that in the same way that Porsche copied their 1970 winning 1917 design. So no damage, lucky to door. It did shut this time, Damien, and he's on his way.
Well, that would have been the plan, and that's why they asked him to slow down as well, which is always a good thing to do when something like that happens. But just getting back to that Nissan design, I mean, it's a very, very interesting concept, designed for low drag. There's two tunnels through that car from the front to the back, one on either side of the monocoque. It's a front engine car, of course. Then there's very little weight on the back of it. They've got skinny little tires on the back, and I was down there at the Nissan, what looks like a shed. It's actually a temporarily shed that's built like a factory, to be honest. And the wishbones, the actual size of the rear wishbones are like the thickness of your finger. It's actually frightening, but obviously a design that's been...
Ben Bob is quite happy with that. He won't sign off a car unless he's totally happy with it, will he, Jeremy?
No, absolutely right. And as Brendan Hartley, the Kiwi, super fast Kiwi he is. Spent a lot of time on the Red Bull driver development program from New Zealand. He came up through Formula Ford and the Toyota Racing Series in New Zealand, and was given an opportunity to come over to Europe, race in Formula Renault, then Formula 3, and Formula Renault World Series as well. Very promising single-seater career, but now he's absolutely thrilled, Brendan Hartley, with his sports car career and doing a fabulous job, given a great opportunity by Porsche.
And of course, he probably got that first opportunity with Murphy Motorsports, our friend Greg Murphy there, who was instrumental in, of course, who owns that team, and probably instrumental in getting Brendan Hartley into Porsche. But obviously, he did a fantastic job with Murphy Prototypes, and yeah, big star for sure.
So riding on board with the number 18 car at the moment. Neil Jarney still on board, the man who set that blistering pole position right at the very start of qualifying.
And here they are working again, working their way through the GT traffic again. Here the GT lead as they're working their way through. And there's a third place car. That is the Audi Loic Duval, car number 8. Last time around he pulled up as much as 2 seconds on those two Porsches. You can see the number 17 car, the red and white car, then the black and white car number 18. And here now is Loic Duval in the best of the Audis, closing that gap to the Porsches very, very quickly.
Yeah, and of course we're only on lap, what is it, 15 out of 24 hours here. But you've got Neil Yanni there. He wants to get to the front. He wants to pass Timo Bernhard because he wants to be at the front. He wants to be the leading car. And with all of this traffic management going on, you can be, if everybody's at the same level, and I'm sure in the P1s at that level of Porsche and the Audi drivers where they're at, they'll all be good at getting through traffic. If you looked at Tom Christensen was a master of that. But and his record speaks for itself, but of course you could be unlucky too sometimes where you can, the guy in second place for example, so Neil wants to get to the get on the back of that sister car and get on front.
What we call threading the needle, isn't it? Just noticing on our main timing screen, which shows the first 29, Nicky Tim has pulled himself up to 28th, leading Pro-Am in the number 95 Aston Martin, and the leader at the moment in GT Am is Andrea Bertolini in the 72 Ferrari. Now, a very early stop by Pedro Lamy and dropped him to the back of the field. So I would imagine that was probably more than just an early refueling, Jeremy.
Well, no, look at the... Well, yeah, he has made a pit stop and the other guys in front of him haven't. Yeah, so that explains that. That's why Pedro Lamy's back in the 8th place in GTE Am, and the guys ahead of him have yet to make their first pit stops. But yeah, it's Andrea Bertolini who leads right now in the number 72. That's the SMP Racing Ferrari. Patrick Long in the Dempsey Proton competition, car number 77 for Porsche. Patrick Long will share that car with Patrick Dempsey, who is perhaps better known as a TV actor than anything else, but he takes his racing very, very seriously indeed, does Patrick Dempsey. And here comes Andrea Bertolini onto pit lane as well. And
you can see here in the GTE Pro class, all of the leaders, the top 6 leaders, have actually pitted all at the same time. So this will be a fascinating battle here. Nicky Team currently leading that with Richie Stanaway second and Jimmy Bruni third in that Ferrari.
Richard Bradley, we noticed, has got back past Sam Bird into second in P2. Gomendi, though, now leading by some 4.2 seconds. So that battle really, really rocking and rolling. Lucas Vantor there, John Lancaster still in the mix there, Paul Loup-Chatin, and then Harry Tinkle in the Nissan number 22 running 15th overall. He seems to be the only Nissan without problems, because we have heard that the other car had to start from the pit lane, the 23 car, which is why it's back in the field.
Yeah, and I think, to be honest, they're just looking to put hours on this car, and you know, I think if they could get anywhere near the end of this 24 hours, they'd be happy. An awful lot of work has gone into that, but they haven't had an awful lot of... they've had...
But Audi is 2 seconds behind. You cannot really afford to go slightly to the rear.
So he's talking about the dirty air is causing problems for his tires, Den. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, well, that's Neil Yanni, of course, in the second of the Porsches there in the number 18. So what he's saying is when he's following his sister car closely there, that it's causing the dirty air is causing an imbalance, and it's bad for his front tires. So he's asking if I think he was asking if he can you know, either back up a little. At least I think that's, I couldn't really make out the thing, but what they're saying was no, the Audi's behind, so you can't come backwards.
So what is it they're not allowed to be told, the teams? You cannot be told about other cars' fuel, is that right?
Actually, I'm not sure.
Something came out the other night, Jeremy. The information that you're allowed to give on the radio is specifically excluded from giving other people's fuel consumption. Is that right?
Not news to me, I must admit. I know there's rules in Formula 1 now about driver coaching, if you like.
We'll look into that.
I didn't know there was a rule. That could be a sports car racing.
That could be a thread in the small hours of the night. We're going to take a break here on Eurosport. It's Porsche 1-2, Audi 3-4-5, Porsche 6, Toyota 7 and 8. It's a long, hot afternoon here in West France, and we're watching the lead battle for the 83rd running of the Le Mans 24 Hours. It's the 17 Porsche of Timo Bernhard being chased by the 18 car of Neil Jani, and of course the 3 factory Porsches running in different colours this year, just to give some variety to honour Porsche's long and honourable history at Le Mans, which started in 1951. Andre Lotterer and Marc Duval in 4th and 3rd places respectively for Audi, and in fact the Audi of Marco Bononomi just got past Nico Hülkenberg's Porsche again. So the battle unfolding this afternoon, the heat going up, 25 degrees at the last count, Jeremy.
Yeah, and just 7 seconds now covering the top 6 guys. That's 3 Porsches and 3 Audis covered by next to nothing. And that was a quick lap there from Andre Lotterer in the 4th place car, kind of a 7, the second of the Audis. And when 20...
Hurry up. Audis are pressing Neil behind. Audis are pressing Neil behind.
That's the call there to Timo Bernhard to say the Audis are pressing Neil Jani from behind is absolutely right, because the Audis are very definitely closing in. Last lap around, they closed in by more than a second. It's the first 3 cars now pretty much. Whoa, there's one of the factory Porsches in GT. That's trailing fluid, isn't it?
That sounds like it looks like it's lost. Yeah, it's just gone on fire. That looks like an engine blow.
Oops, and oil there. One of the Audis just went straight on. Somebody else spun off as well. Is that the Rebellion?
I think that's a Rebellion.
Or is it?
Oh dear, oh dear. This is Patrick Pilet pulling off. That car is not going to be running any longer.
Trying to find a marshal's post there to pull. My goodness me.
Now hopefully we'll see the
yellow zone in.
Yellow zones, yep, exactly. Big drama there here.
Always a concern as well. Thankfully he's out. That's good.
Exactly on the hour mark.
Consumed a lot of smoke just there.
So there's been a collision between the Rev and the Porsche. I'm sure that's what caused it. We didn't see the start of it. Let's have a replay in a minute. Safety cars are actually out now.
Wasn't it? Off the road. Is that the Porsche?
No, that's a Rebellion.
Okay. Yeah, that's the 13 car, isn't it?
Such a shame that car didn't park beside a... Here we go. Here's a replay. Oh,
lost it going in there, probably on his own oil. And there's 2 other cars spinning off.
They collided.
It is one of the Porsches. Look, safety car. The race director Eduardo Freitas was trying, if he could, not to use the safety cars. They had the new slow zones in effect for this year at Le Mans 24 Hours, but with that incident there, really no choice.
So under safety cars, right on the hour mark here, the first hour mark at Le Mans. We've got a fire, which of course is always going to be a problem because it reduces visibility for these cars. Porsche shaking their heads. Now, what it looked like from what we saw, here we are, replay, was he run into? Well, there was a big collision to start with.
To be quite honest, that actually looks like it's blown an engine. He spun on his own oil, and the 2 prototypes behind spun on the same oil.
On the Porsche
That's
oil.
what it looks like.
Yes.
So we got the 3 safety cars out, as you said. Those safety cars are stationed at the Ford chicane. The second one waits at the first chicane, down the Forza chicane, and the third one waits at Indianapolis, and that way they don't break the field up too much. But anyone who's gained any big gap is at a disadvantage. But of course, so far in this first start, no one has got a big gap.
No, well, that's it. I mean, Jeremy just alluded to the battle at the front and how close that was, with just a couple of seconds covering the top 6. But what was noticeable there, the 2 Audis were really fast on that last lap prior to that yellow. Both of them sitting there in 3rd and 4th position.
Yeah.
So, what we don't know is which the 3rd prototype was. It was a black car or a dark-looking car?
I think it was the Stracadome.
Right. They don't need that, do they? They've had such a rough year last year. Couldn't get the dome to work properly. Yeah, it is the Rebellion hit the Stracadome on oil from the Porsche, we're hearing generally.
Yeah, and the dome was running in the 10th place in P2. Yeah, they were fortunate there. That was, well, good news and bad news. There was fortunate that there's hopefully not too much damage to those cars, but they were certainly unfortunate to be right there on the scene when the Porsche apparently had some sort of a catastrophic engine or transmission failure, and that just dumped a whole load of oil on the racetrack right in front of those 2 cars. Really bad news for the Rebellion team. They've done a fabulous job with these cars. We talked about it a little while ago. It's a privateer team. Rebellion watches, and run by Bart Hayden there. Seabar Engineering is how that team started out, and they've done a fabulous job this year running the Orica-built Rebellion R1 chassis. Here's again a look there. Whoa, there's a big contact there. The Rebellion car, the red car, is on board with the Porsche.
Get out of the car. 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 Out of the car.
Well, that came first, didn't it? He spun on his own oil, as you said, and then the following LMP2s took it out.
Yeah, and I think they just clipped each other as well. Unfortunately, the Rebellion ending up in the gravel trap, but that's really unfortunate for the number 92. Of course, we were just speculating earlier about the engine failure, but it sounds like with that radio transmission, that's what it was, and that's most unusual, isn't it, for Porsche here?
Yeah, but,
just 1 hour into the race.
It is. Yeah, Porsches generally tended to be super reliable in general, but certainly in the last year or so, even in North America, in the GT ranks over there, the Porsches have been having some difficulties, some rather more mechanical failures than was normal, certainly. But, you know, the GT battle these days, it's so intense, it's so fraught at the front of the field.
Yeah, and the director keeps going back to the Porsche garage here, and it's real heartbreak for those guys. You can see the emotion just running through them. The amount of work that goes into this, it's like I mean, this is really like the Olympics for all of these people, not just the drivers, but the amount of work, the late nights, the amount of preparation is just phenomenal. It's just a high-speed game of chess at 200 miles an hour for 24 hours, isn't it? And it's all over for them in the first, well, just over an hour gone.
What we are hearing is that the Rebellion might have got going again, having been lifted out of the gravel. Did you spot that?
I think we just saw a clip of it going under our TV there. So
the Porsches, though, it was Frederick Makoverki and Wolf Hensler supposed to be sharing that number 92 Porsche with Patrick Pilet. Fred Makoverki finished on the podium here last year. Has had a couple of poles here in the GT ranks as well. Super fast is a Frenchman, and I'm very much looking forward to this race. He was, but that number 92 car, the day is done.
So there is the overall classification after the 1 hour mark. Porsche, Audi, Porsche, Toyota, and then just one Rebellion at the moment, not two there. It's the 13 car that got punted off and is now in the gravel, or punted itself off on the oil, taking out the Stracker. Is the Stracker still running? Can we see that?
I think it got going again. Yeah, I'm not sure whether they went
Johnny
into the
Kane
pit.
completed the last lap, so he did get going again, but he's in the garage at the moment, isn't he? Along with Nick Manassian in the 27 car.
I should just go back and explain, sorry, just before that incident about when we heard Neil Yanni on radio to his team complaining about the front tyres and asking if he can back up a little. I mean, he wasn't asking to back up half a mile, he was only asking if he could back up 100 metres. There is the Rebellion, which is a bit of damage done on the front there, which that will be just a nose cone change, but at least it's out of the gravel and it's circulating with no apparent other problems apart from that front end, which I think can be repaired pretty quickly. Here's a replay of something else. But yeah, so his getting back to Neil Yanni and the tyre problem that he had.
We're starting the race. This is at the right at the beginning of the race, isn't it? The replay of the start. Good clean start. They're going up towards the Dunlop curve. The two Porsches from the front row absolutely side by side, and the two Audis battling away behind those two as well. We've seen that battle really developing now in the first hour of the race, and there seems to be, as we had suspected, very little to choose between the Porsches and the Audis.
Yeah,
still the Porsches 1-2 at the moment, but Audi 3-4 and right with them.
Yeah, Audi were just coming on strong there just prior to that, but sorry if I keep going back to this Neil Yanni and the tyre problem, but what was probably happening there with the turbulent air, Jeremy, was that he was getting a little bit of understeer and therefore putting a little bit more slip through the tyre, and the pressures were probably coming up and he was probably losing a little bit of front end, and therefore knowing that he couldn't overtake easily his teammate, he wanted to back it up a little, so he was just asking. That really wasn't much of a complaint, but he was told that the Audis were right behind. So
yeah, with the race leader Timo Bernhardt there as the team clears up Mobil 1's finest all over the entry into the first chicane, the Forza chicane. Everyone being kept well over by the marshals. 2,000 marshals here this weekend, and 8 nearly 85 of those are British marshals who make the annual pilgrimage here.
Yeah, I mean, a brilliant shout out to all of those marshals. These guys are the real heroes of racing. They come here, they're unpaid. They're unpaid everywhere, I believe, but they do a fabulous job. So well done to them.
I mentioned Nick Manassim was in the pits. There it is. There's the SMP Racing car, which in fact, that's the Elation car with the two Ladygins on board as well, not Nick Manassian's car. So that's just come into the pits too. Nick Manassian, he's made 2 pit stops. Elation, who again, Mikael Elation, another rookie guy who starred in Renault 3.5, but has turned his back on single-seaters now and moved into proper racing, Damien.
Yeah, sorry, I've just seen at Straka Racing are repairing their rear wing. So they've had a cut in their tyre and they're replacing the rear wing in the Straka car.
Yep. In comes the 13 Rev. They're going to dolly it straight into the garage, get that nose changed, check it for any front-end damage, but hopefully no more than superficial.
Yeah, they'll just have a little bit of gravel as well. They'll check around all 4 corners, make sure there's no gravel in the brake discs and the brake calipers, anything that's going to get in the way there. So they'll just do a quick blow down of those all 4 corners and get them back out again.
Yeah, another reason to put that car back in the garage, just put it up on the dollies there, wheel it back in. If the car is in pit lane, there's only 4 people allowed to work on that car, whereas if you put it back in the garage, as many people as you like can work on that car, so you get a lot more done a lot more quickly if you pull that car into the garage. And as you say, Damien Faulkner, they will make sure, have a good look over the front of that car to make sure there's no other major damage, because we're on the safety car here right now. They're not going to lose that much ground to everybody else. Interesting though to me that the 2 Toyotas are a little bit lucky there, because oftentimes here at Le Mans, with the 3 safety cars that are used here, which I hate, you can get caught behind the safety car, and when you get back to the restart, you're going to be a minute and a half behind the group in front of you. Fortunately for the Toyotas there, they were able to stay within the same safety car, so they are now back in line, if you like, with the other prototypes in front of us. So we're going to have, once again, an 8-car train at the front when we go back to green.
Yeah, that's just another replay of that. Unfortunate, there's a
Wolf Hensler there getting consoled, because it's the first time he's driven a factory car hit at the Le Mans 24 Hours, and he was so excited about the opportunity. Great guy is Wolf, and a real stalwart for Porsche.
I was at Daytona when he won outright with Kevin Buckler's team. That was a great win, wasn't it?
Yeah, super nice guy, and a heck of a driver as well. He's 40 years old now, is Wolf Hensler, but won an awful lot of events. The Porsche Super Cup champion back in 04. Boy, that seems like a long time ago.
What's wrong with that? 40 years old.
Nothing whatsoever.
Okay, so it looks like on car 17 they use full lock both sides to warm up the tires, and it seems to work better than us. Okay. Who is behind them? This car number 8, and then is another Audi. There's the number 7, and then number 9. Okay, so there's a lot of sand entry per chicane on the left, so you need to keep right.
Well, Loic Duval, of course, is just going to be sitting there waiting, isn't he, for the restart, and he thinks he's going to try and jump both those if he can. You know what Loic is like as a starter.
Yeah, and Andre Lotterer as well. There's 2 Audi drivers. Gosh, this is going to be fun again now. The race has kind of settled down. Everybody kind of knows now where everybody else stands, at least to some degree. We still don't know how far everybody can go on a full stint of fuel here, but the timing of that first round of pit stops, where the Porsche is just a little bit quicker than the Audis, suggests that therefore they had to put it on board a little bit less fuel than the Audis. So we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see now. Of course, with this safety car period, we're still not going to get a completely clear picture, but it's still going to be a fascinating motor race.
Yeah, despite all the technology here, we just saw a lovely picture of the marshals with a fertilizer spreader putting cement dust on that oil.
Yeah, soak up that oil.
More news from the pits. Last year's winners, Toyota Sport in P2. Gearbox problems. They've been in the pits. They got it fixed, and they're back out now. We're going to take a break. Stay with us.
It's been behind because of chattering with fire in the corner, then the car jumped on me. I lost one place in the queue, it's stupid. Sorry for that. But no drama, thank God.
Okay, copy that, Alex. We need to reduce the communication during this period, so I'll come back to you later.
Slippery track in the whereabouts.
Welcome back to Eurosport. We have just seen Alex Wirtz in the number 2 Toyota spinning under safety car conditions. Not always the best thing to do, but Eduardo Freitas at the same time warning everyone there may be a slippery track there too. Johnny Molam has just joined us. Johnny, good afternoon and welcome. You're a Porsche man through and through. Very sad for you to see one of the factory cars go out like that.
Yeah, hello Mark. Yes, I'm doing tag team with Damien Faulkner. So yeah, it was very, very sad to see that happen. I'm just glad that he got out of the car. That went up quickly. It looked like a fuel line or an oil line had broken going into the chicane. Then got out quick though.
No, we're just going for a quick interview with Alex Imperatori down in the pits.
I'm here with Alexander Imperatori, who's just had a very unexpected trip off of the circuit, and you actually made some contact as well, but it sounds like you were just the victim of bad luck.
Yes, there's a car just in front of us that blew its engine and put a lot of oil on the circuit. There was no oil flags because it happened right in front of us, and like I said, there was no time to react. I saw the car in front of me lose the rear, and by the time I slowed down, but it was already too late. And I thought I could make it to the gravel, but the striker car just in front of us went sideways, and there was nowhere to go without any grip, and we hit him, unfortunately. So there is some bodywork damage, but hopefully we can repair quickly and go back out there.
And let's talk about Rebellion as a team. They've come back every year for a fight against some of the powerhouses of this race. They've got such strong drivers, yourself being one of them this year. Is your plan to just look after the car, push but be safe, and hopefully if it goes wrong, then you're there waiting?
Yeah, exactly. That was the philosophy. It is still the philosophy. We know on raw pace we have no chance against the hybrids, so we're trying, to be steady, have a steady pace, and make it to the end without problems. Hopefully in a good position. Now this is the last thing we needed, but we keep pushing, and we never know.
Well, it's a great team. I'm sure you'll be back out there, and as we speak, it's being pushed back out of the garage. So good luck.
What a great shot there, just as Liz says as they finish it. Hope you can hear the interview okay with the whole safety car train going by. Jeremy, you hate these 3 safety cars, but the only good thing this year at the moment is that they have not split any of the class battles up.
No, that's right. They don't seem to have done. It's really good news. In GT, certainly all their leaders are together. In GTE AM, they're all together. Certainly, as we've already seen, the prototype cars are all together, and the not the case, however, in LMP2, unfortunately, because it looks like the top 2 cars have got clear everybody else. That's Tristan Gomedy and Richard Bradley. And unfortunately for Lawrence Vantour in car number 34, that is one of the Oak Racing Ligiers that were running with the HPD, the Honda engine. He, however, has been held up by the pack. Along with him is John Lancaster, Paul-Luc Chatin, and then Nathaniel Berton, Oliver Webb, Pipo Derani, John Fogarty. All those guys are behind the next safety car. So that battle in P2 has been, very badly affected by this safety car, unfortunately.
I mean, you say about the 3 safety cars, Jeremy, and I agree with you as well as a driver when you're out there, but it's still preferable to the old system where, with the 1 safety car, where you could end up still going a lap down if it came out where in between you and the overall leader. So that I actually still think this works slightly better in that way, in that sense that you can maybe lose 2-3 minutes, or 2 minutes, but you tend not to lose an entire lap now.
Yeah, in the old days you could you could make that update. The fields are so competitive these days, you can't. I would like to see, if they're going to continue with this system, which is that's fine. I would like to see it just close up the field before we go back to green. Yes. Hold on 1 second.
Is it on the left-hand side again?
No, well, it's on both sides, but on the side of the car, not on the top.
Andre, try and avoid, as much as possible, going near the white powder for the oil, because it has caused us issues with the radiators and stuff, okay? I know there's some right across the track, but if you could avoid the rest, that would be good.
Okay.
That's Lena Gade there, the race.
I find that
number 7 car on the phone there to Andre Lotterer.
I do find that astonishing that they feel the need to tell Andre Lotterer to stay away from the cement dust. Obviously, that's clear. But interesting, he looked quite relaxed in the car, didn't he, Andre? And I was quite impressed with the way he started this race. I know he fell back behind Duval, but the way he looked early on showed me, I think there's some definite intent in the Audi camp, and in particular, obviously, the number 7 Audi, you have to say, is probably one of the cars out there that knows how to win this race better than anyone else.
So still under safety cars, and news from the pits, the number 50 Corvette, the Labra Corvette, is in the garage, and of course dropping down the order. That's the car that was heavily crashed this morning, and Jack Lecomte's team did such a good job getting it into the race.
If Andre Lotterer drives over all that cement dust, he's well offline, isn't he, Jeremy?
Yes, indeed. I don't think he'll be going anywhere near that lot. Well, I think we just talked there, weren't we, about safety cars. And
this lap will still be behind the safety car. For your info, if you're close to the Porsches, between Indy and Arnage is probably the best place to try and overtake. They don't boost there.
Okay, Indy and Arnage, yeah, okay.
Again, there's some driver coaching. That would be allowed in Formula 1, wouldn't it, John?
Well, I actually...
Lena Gade there. No. For those of you, I know some of you have tweeted to say you're having some difficulty hearing the radio messages here on Eurosport, so we'll try and relay those along just in case. What was Lena Gade was saying there to Andre Lotterer, when they go back to green, which won't be for at least another lap, then she was saying that the Porsches do not use their hybrid power on the little burst of speed from Indianapolis to Arnage corner, so suggesting to him that that's where he should try and make an overtake race into the right-hander of Arnage.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't be allowed in F1 though, would it?
It wouldn't. That is driver coaching, as you said, but that is very relevant information for Andre to know where they're boosting. And the Porsches, as you saw in qualifying, when they come out with their systems fully charged, they can release it over one lap incredibly quick. On race pace, where they're having to harvest energy as well as release it, that's why you're seeing the Audis actually able to live with them. And that is exactly why Andre Lotterer needs to know things like that.
Information to the pit lane. Safety cars are coming in at the end of this lap. Please advise your drivers that overtaking is only allowed once they've crossed the relevant lap behind, corresponding to the safety car they are behind.
So Eduardo Freitas just confirming where you can and can't overtake. There's all that oil at the first chicane, dumped by Patrick Pilet. We're going down to the pits, another interview.
I'm here with Danny Watts, driver of the Straka car, who your car was also involved in that very unfortunate oil spill by the engine detonation of the Porsche. I came down here thinking maybe the car would be in the garage, but you guys are obviously flying, but it did need quite a lot of repairs, didn't it?
Just the rear end, so we took a tear off because there's a lot of oil on the screen. The rebellion came into the first chicane on Mulsanne out of control on the oil, and as Johnny was turning in and just wiped out the rear end, so we lost the rear wing, had to come in, always turn it around really quick, back out, and I don't think we've lost a lap.
Well, that's pretty impressive. We have to give the team some props for that. And you guys have been teammates, the three of you as drivers, for so many years now, and we were so sad that you didn't make it last year. It's great to be back here at this race with this dome chassis, and we sadly will not see it again, I understand.
What's that?
Well, in 2017, isn't it? That it's not going to...
Exactly, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to surprise you.
Yeah, I thought, is that the season over? Oh, right, news. Anyway, 2017, look, honestly, we've had a frustrating time the last year and a half. We just want to go back out racing and just taking each race as it comes. I mean, this is a big, big week beyond, the next 2 years. Who knows? Let's just focus on today and tomorrow, the rest of this season.
These are the pride of... Thank you.
Thank you, Danny Watts. Thank you, Liz. And we're racing again, as you can see. Look at this Audi having a real punch now out of Indianapolis. But Johnny, just pointing out, we got yellows done at Mulsanne corner.
Yeah, double yellow in zone 2 there. So obviously we missed that on the cameras, but there's obviously been a bit of a kerfuffle in the restarts. Look at the speed of that Porsche. Absolutely unbelievable. You watch the acceleration out of those corners of these Porsches now, Jeremy. They're absolutely astonishing when that hybrid power kicks in.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, yeah, you've driven a lot of GT cars. You're used to the rate of acceleration away from you out of the corners of prototype cars, but this is a completely different level nowadays. I've spoken to various drivers about that. And I'm glad you could join us here on Eurosport, Johnny Mullen and myself, Jeremy Shaw, along with Mark Cole in the commentary booth here. We're just talking about the amazing power of the hybrid systems and the difference in what it is now to what it was just a few years ago, when the prototype cars always used to accelerate massively off the corners, but now, Johnny, remarkable. The cars just disappear. They're like dragsters, aren't they?
It's incredible. They come out of the corner and they get the things just about straight, and anything above third gear, and the hybrid power kicks in, and the launch is just phenomenal. And it's interesting, whenever you go in car with any of the hybrids now, any of the P1 cars, you hear that whine through the gearbox and the whine of all the hybrids working. And I can remember to some extent hearing that back in the day with the Zytek, but the whine of it now, the power they've got now, the megajoules in that, they're just absolutely unbelievable. And the speeds, not just the straight line off the corner speeds, but this is as technical advanced as you get in motorsport with these cars now. And the fact that in qualifying they basically broke the track record since the days when the chicanes, before the chicanes went in, just shows you how fast and how high level of performance these cars have got.
And that number 7 car, we just saw 4 wheels off going through Tetra Rouge. That was Andre Lotterer, desperate to try and get onto the back of Gianni.
Now, tell me something. You and Jeremy will know the answer to this, Mark. I know that a few people, like Jimmy Bruni was talking to me, and he had his times cut from going past. So we see a lovely shot there of the Porsches followed by the 2 Audis going down into the second Mulsanne chicane. If they cut out, if they're going off corner at Tetra Rouge, I know they had times disallowed in practice. What is it going to happen in the race?
Same sort of thing. They're going to get a warning. They'll get a warning.
Oh, so they get one warning, do they?
I think so, yeah. And
because a lot of them are going wide there, and there's time to be gained. There's 3 or 4 tenths easily to be gained by doing that.
That's exactly right. In qualifying, yes, as you say, they lose their times. Here, they'll get a warning, and if they do it again, then they might get another extremely tough warning. If they don't listen, then they're going to be in the pit lane.
At Silverstone, it was drive-throughs.
Yeah.
Was it drive-throughs? Because I noticed they were handing out like 2-minute stop-and-go penalties earlier on, like confetti. So that is something that could really, by trying to gain half a second, you could lose the race. So, as you rightly said earlier, Jeremy, as we see another beautiful in-car shot here from the number 19 Porsche Hybrid, absolutely towing up beautifully. This is going down through the kinks down towards Indianapolis corner. Just gives you an idea of a driver's eye view there as we pan back out again and watch them coming down into what is, for any driver's favourite part of the track here, coming down into very, very fast sweeper into Indianapolis.
Which is where Luna Gates told Andre that's his best chance
exactly right,
Indianapolis and Arnage.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this corner right here.
He's trying desperately to get in there. It's very difficult, though, he's having a little look, but it's very difficult. It's a very short section coming into the very tight Arnage corner in there. And that left-hander at Indianapolis, it's very short distance from there to the braking point for Arnage.
It is. 2 interesting things about this picture. Number 1, Timo Bernhard pulled out just a little bit in the front. Number 2, interesting thing, number 8 car, Loic Duval, was running in the 3rd place. He's now back in 6th. And the 2 Toyotas have fallen way off the back of the pack already on this 1 lap after a restart.
I was interested to see how the Toyota's race pace would compare. Yes. I know that they weren't that good in qualifying, but that didn't necessarily mean everything, as we spoke earlier about the Porsches. I do think Audi have got something for Porsche in the race. I don't think there's any doubt about that. We're already seeing that. As Porsche obviously get 8-10 hours into the race, you're going to find some of their power with the lithium batteries will be lost as well, so they're going to drop probably 20% of their boost out of their batteries. So I do think Audi are firmly in this. Toyota, on the other hand, it does look at this a relatively early stage still, so it's quite early to comment, but it does look to me like they're kind of out of the fight.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And the Toyota guys were putting a brave face on it and saying, you know, perhaps you haven't seen all that we can produce yet. Well, we'll see. But certainly in that first lap of green flag racing after that restart, they've been left well behind there, 5 seconds behind the rest. The leaders really pulling away at the front.
Back into Tetra Rouge. Let's watch this, Johnny, see how wide they go.
That's so quick, that corner now, Tetra Rouge. It was always quick, but now that is almost flat out in 4th gear. It's unbelievable. Just a dab on the brakes, turn it in, back on the power. In fact, they're probably going through there in 5th, actually.
Yeah, everyone behaving themselves on that time just because we pulled them up on it. Obviously, the team's also warning up. But look at this train, absolutely magnificent. This is world sports car racing at its very best. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back, see how this all pans out.